now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is Alayne Dick. How are you, Alayne?
Kia ora, how you doing? I'm good, thank you.
Pretty good. You're an improviser here in Aotearoa. How did you get into improv?
Yeah, well, I moved up to Wellington after uni, and a bunch of very cool people I knew were in a comedy collective together called Discharge, because it was because it was bold, and then they were all auditioning for this improv show in the comedy festival, and I didn't want to be left out, so I also auditioned for it, and so yeah, then I got in and was in the comedy festival for improv, and then I haven't stopped.
Nice.
And the show was called Taking Off the Bird Suit, and it was specifically about like giving women and non-binary people like stage time to like learn improv, which is really cool. Yeah.
Improv is a famously white guy dominated field, so that's good that there's a.
It is a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was good. Taught by Jen O'Sullivan, who's like for improv nerds everywhere. She's like the queen of local improv here. If you're from Australia, if anyone's listening from Australia, I'm sure they know her.
Do you like movies, by the way? Are you a movie fan?
I love movies. Yeah, I love movies. I love movies. I write movies sometimes. We do a little bit of film work sometimes. Yeah, huge movie fan. Have a lot of fond memories of like my main collaborator when we were friends in high school. We would like watch a lot of movies together, and that's like a really fond memory for me. But I'm not like some people are like film buffs where they like know all the info and they remember actors' names and they like watch cinema. And sometimes I watch cinema, but I also love a lot of things that are really silly and camp and stupid. So I love film, but I wouldn't say that I'm a cinephile necessarily.
Sure. Well, what's an example of a movie that's camp and like that wouldn't necessarily be considered cinema? That's one of your favorites.
Oh, I mean, like Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story.
Oh no, that is absolutely S tier cinema. Well, that's art.
Us the Beatles. Like you can't. No, like I as a teen was like really obsessed with all of those kind of like Dewey Cox, you got Anchorman, you got Talladega Nights. Like some of them don't stand up to time, some of them do. Your Zoolanders, your like really silly comedies.
I will say Dewey Cox does. I think it has aged well, which is nice.
I think it's more elevated than some of those other films for sure. And it's like ripping of the biopic kind of. Yeah. And biopics never really recovered from that. Like it took years for people to take them to seriously after that movie. Like it really just drug it out in the street and be like, every movie is like this. It's crazy. And to this day, no one respects the biopic. And if you try and tell me one that did well, I won't believe you. I'll be like, actually, you're wrong. It was a massive failure. Yeah.
It's either a massive failure because no one saw it or no one liked it. Like Bohemian Rhapsody, a lot of people saw, but they did not like it.
I did not like that movie. Do you know that the thing about that movie that all I remember of it is I think it's like 80% montage.
The tracks.
Like I'm pretty sure if you go back and watch it, it is mostly just one big montage.
What is a movie if not just one big montage, though?
Such a good question.
Who among us? But that's an excellent pick. Anything with Tim Meadows in it, I'm there for it. He was recently in an episode of The Mandalorian, and I lost my mind.
Nice. I don't watch that, but I'm told Baby Yoda is very cute. My partner is a huge fan of Baby Yoda.
I think he's so ugly. That is my one like. My one contrarian, like dumb opinion that I have is that I can't stand Baby.
I love that. I
want to drop kick him, get him out of here.
No, don't drop kick him. I love a creature design where it's like a little round guy with big ears. I love Stitch. I feel like Stitch is in the same like creature design aesthetic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I watched that movie so much growing up, and I was like, how are any of these people confusing this monster for a dog? It's impossible. Right? He looks like an alien. And then I saw one French bulldog in my early 20s, and I was like, oh, I see. It's because we have real dogs back home, not these guys. Got it.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch is an incredible piece. That's cinema. That's for sure cinema. I love Lilo and Stitch.
Such a good film. Do you remember the first movie you saw in the theater growing up?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Hey,
I have I don't know if it's true or not. I might be lying to you. So, when you're like really young and your parents tell you something so many times, and then it is in your brain, but I don't think I was old enough to actually have like a concrete memory of this. But allegedly, I was taken to The Lion King, like a cinematic release of The Lion King, and apparently I got very annoyed that there was an intermission because there were still intermissions at this cinema, and I was like, no, why are you getting in the way of my cinematic experience? I was very involved in the narrative. I do not want to stop for drinks. I do not want a 10-minute break. And I don't know why there was an intermission. It was like one of these really old cinemas, because I'm from a very small town, so we were like I'd say a good like 10 years behind. Like, to give you an idea, like me and my friends road tripped to a slightly bigger, smaller town to see Avatar in 3D, because while everywhere else had 3D screens, we did not have 3D screens.
Gotcha.
Like that, it was like very much a time capsule town, and still is. So apparently The Lion King, and I really hated the idea of an intermission.
I mean, I think that's a strong way. I mean, the only thing I can imagine is if they're changing the reels over, but Lion King's not a long movie.
No, it's like a normal animated feature. So I have no clue.
80 minutes. That's very funny.
It might have been, I have a suspicion maybe it was like a fundraiser. And so maybe there was like a halftime, maybe it was like a school fundraiser, or like a preschool fundraiser or something. It would be very my parents to like go to something like that. So maybe there was like a raffle or something that needed to happen, and they knew people wouldn't stay past the end of the movie. And so they put it in the, I don't know why. But true. I know that the cinema also I also remember them having an intermission when I went to see Ants, A Bug Life's nemesis, A Bug Life's what was like ego, not Bizarro. Bully, because Ants isn't high status, the low status ant, the low status of Bug's Life, I would call it Ants.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember having an intermission too.
Yeah, like a Walmart brand.
Yeah.
Great value, Bug's Life.
And I know this is exactly what your podcast is about, is discussing the time capsule nature of Blenheim.
Oh, you're from Blenheim. Okay, now everything's coming together. Gotcha.
I just assumed you would have avoided Blenheim since you're not.
I haven't been, but I've heard.
Yeah, don't go there.
But yeah, that's very funny that you were like, I cannot stand this intermission. Do you want, as someone who does pick up like little facts about movies, do you want to know something very fun about A Bug's Life?
I do.
Well, it was the second. The original is Ants. And then Pixar heard that they were doing Ants and said, nope, we're going to just get rid of this real quick.
Holy moly.
Which is
I didn't realize Pixar was a bully, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Disney doesn't like
they are
competition.
Disney-aligned. Yeah,
it was Ants was like I think the third DreamWorks movie, and they did not like that it was happening, because DreamWorks was formed from ex-Disney employees that were like, fuck this place. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Which is why, with A Bug's Life, Randy Newman, my favorite musician, does the music for it. But you can tell he was just kind of cashing it in. He's like, yeah, let's just.
Yeah, no one ever goes to A Bug's Life to rewatch it. Like, that's not a rewatch film. Is that same thing that happened with A Shark's Tale versus Finding Nemo then? Was that like a similar situation where Pixar was like, no, we'll do the fish movie first, actually?
I think it was the reverse that time.
It was the reverse that time.
Yeah, they've been doing this back and forth, and then Shrek happened, where it was a big, middle finger to Disney. But, they've been, because up until recently, there was really, since DreamWorks, there was not any competition for Disney, so they weren't used to it. They didn't like it. Anyhow, I'll say this about A Bug's Life.
Okay,
I've seen it probably 12 times.
Wow, that's a lot of time.
We watched it a lot as a kid. Don't know why.
It just happens. Sometimes a movie is with you a lot as a child. I had my version of that is George of the Jungle, the live. Yeah, because that was what was always, 'cause my parents are gym rats. And so they would take me to the gym and I would be put in the holding pen for children of gym rats. And it was always, which makes a lot of sense because George of the Jungle, a very ripped man, very much like pushing that like bulk aesthetic, but like being cut, like clean cut kind of vibe on children, body shaming starts at a young age, I guess. But yeah, that was always playing at the gym. And so I think also weirdly George of the Jungle was my version of that.
I think that there are worse films you could be put in front of constantly though.
It's pretty funny. It's a
pretty good movie.
Yes.
Coffee, Java, of course. Of course. So I have some trivia questions here for you, if you're so inclined. Great. First off, as always, what is movie?
Yeah, I mean, what isn't movie?
Ooh, I like that.
Like, a lot of people, I understand, think moving picture. So it's not, but that's not movie. That's not movie. Movie is like overpriced popcorn. Like movie is like being really excited to go see something, and then there's like teens being really loud. But you don't want to tell them off because you're still afraid of teens because you're 30 and you don't want to seem out of touch with teen culture. And so you just let them talk during Bodies, even though you've actually been really excited about Bodies for a long time. Movie is like saying, oh, but did you see the reviews? Or movie might be saying, I never watched the trailer because they give away too many things in the trailers these days. I think the concept of movie is a lot bigger than people think.
Well said. Big fan.
But what do you think is movie?
Oh, I keep that. That's very personal.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Very private.
All right. I see. There's no vulnerability from the interviewer in this podcast. I understand.
Yeah, this podcast isn't about me. It's about you.
Sure. All right. Cool.
Don't say. Oh, fucking stabbed. Right. Oh, abs through the heart there.
It's fine. You set the rules. It is your show. But I don't know. I'm curious.
I agree with the thing you said of like a movie is to me, movie is the feeling that you get in the pit of the stomach right as the screen fades to black then come up on the credits.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's where it is. And like you go to certain films and there's just that, like, I remember seeing the Force Awakens at the premiere in New York. Well, not like the main premiere, but like at a midnight showing. And you could feel everyone as it was fading in, and then it was so tense, and then Lucasfilm came up and everyone lost their minds. And I'm like, that is
good. Movie.
That is movie.
That's poetic. Yeah.
It's giving really movie.
It's giving movie. It's serving movie. Yeah.
Speaking of going to the cinema, what do you think is the best cinema snack?
Oh, that's a very good question. Because you've got the traditional, like you get the popcorn and then you put the M&Ms in the popcorn and you mix them up. So that's like traditional. So I'm not against that. I like how Lighthouse Cinema specifically does an ice cream sandwich. I think that New Zealand doesn't have enough ice cream sandwiches, because I fell in love with these when I went to America. And then I was like, wow, I love ice cream sandwich. Maybe ice cream sandwich is movie. And so I really like that. I love an ice cream is what I'll say. I love a cinema ice cream.
I've heard they're good. I've yet to have a chalk top. I've been suggested it several times.
It's good. It's good.
But
in America, you have the unlimited cheese is what I noticed. And Canada has it too. The unlimited, the going to the cinema and you get a nacho chip, and then there's a cheese machine and you put the fake cheese sauce on the nacho chip. And that's fun.
That is very fun. Have you been to a cinema where they have like you go to the popcorn and then there's like different styles of like powder you can put on it?
No, I have
Yeah, you
not.
can put
I
like
have not.
cheese powder or like sugar on it and like
Yes, I remember seeing. Yeah, no, I remember seeing that. I think I didn't do that because I got distracted by nacho chip in cinema, which just seemed really weird.
You've never had a pretzel or a nacho chip? I mean, they're so messy. That's the thing.
I don't like pretzels. I don't.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's okay though.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say if you like pretzels, I won't hate. Like, it's fine to like different things.
It's very bold of you to say in 2023.
Yeah. I know. Fine.
So I have another question here for you, which is, who was your first character crush?
That's a good question. It's not from cinema, it's from TV.
Okay, acceptable.
I was thinking about this, and I think I've pinpointed it to Chelsea from That's So Raven.
Okay.
I don't know if you. This is gonna be people listening might know. She was just like, she was Raven's best friend. She was like really tall and had like amazing red hair. And there was this one scene that is like burned in my memory where she did like a musical number about being alone in the hallway, and she like suddenly has like these very short shorts, but this like tuxedo suit, and like is like doing like high kicks and stuff, and like a full on like Broadway number. And I remember being like, whoa, I love that, and but I also want to be that, which is the queer experience, I think. But yes, I think that's going to be the earliest one.
Okay. That's a very good response. I like that. That would awaken something in me as well, for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. What movie monster do you want to fuck? Not that you would have to, but that you act, and you can't pick a vampire. Too easy. It can't be like Dracula or something.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
What movie monster do I want to fuck? That is such a good question. Do I have an answer? You know what? I love resilience in a partner. And so I'm going to pick The Thing simply because of the trailer to the original Thing, which goes, fire can't kill it. Bullets can't kill it. What is it? It's the thing from another world. And I just like, that trailer is burned in my memory. And I remember thinking like, wow, that's a really good monster. That is. So maybe The Thing.
It also goes along with the theme of like, do you want it or do you want to be it? And you can
exactly,
you know. What do you think? What is my favorite movie?
What is your favorite movie?
What is my favorite movie?
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be hard because I hardly know you. But
based off of my vibe or whatever.
Okay, all right. I think it's gonna be something both accessible but like high cinema. I think you based on the fact that you have this show, you have an in-depth knowledge of cinema, but also I think you love fun.
That's true.
So maybe one of the Wes Anderson movies, maybe Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Interesting choice.
What is your favorite movie?
I'll never tell.
You're not going to tell me, are you?
It's deeply personal.
Cool. Fair enough.
It's probably Woman Under the Influence by John Cassavetes.
Oh, that's a great choice.
Thank you. Really makes me cry actually. Every time.
I should have known it would be a Cassavetes film. Of course it is. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. It's the win. Oh God. It's like it's kind of like Greta Gerwig's Little Women, where I'll watch it and every time I cry in a different place because it hits different.
Totally. Excellent. Oh yeah, that's a good adaptation of Little Women. I love Greta Gerwig so much. She's great.
So good. Yeah. I'll say this: it's different places every time, but it's always when Chris Cooper listens to her Beth playing the piano, because I'm just like, oh God, because that, my heart.
Yeah.
What Star Wars character do you want them to never make a Disney Plus series about?
Bold of you to think I watch Star Wars. Okay. But I don't want them to.
Yeah,
I don't want them
that
to.
and go like, stop it, Disney, don't do that.
Oh, I don't want to say because like the one with the annoying voice is the obvious answer, so I'm not going to say that.
His name is Ewan McGregor. His name is Obi-Wan. No.
No, you know the one. I don't know what his name is. The
Yeah.
one that speaks weird, like it's English, but it's not, and it seems I don't like him.
Yeah, there's a few characters that speak English, but it's weird. But I'm just gonna let
underwater,
you...
and he's got like a high pitched voice.
Jar Jar Binks. It's fine. I do.
That's fine. Yeah. Thank you. I don't know. Don't make one about adult Yoda, because that's none of our business. He deserves his privacy. Thank you. He's given enough to this franchise, and I don't want to see a prequel about him. I don't know. Give him his privacy.
Oh, I love that a lot. That's very good. Like, we have seen enough of Yoda. He's been in a fair amount of the movies.
We don't need him more. Let him have a retirement. I don't don't put him through that again.
Oh, that's quite good. What book do you think should never be turned into a movie?
Infinite Jest, because then if you did that, I would have to hear about it from every man, and I don't want to. I hate that book so much. And so I just don't, and I also don't think it could be done. I don't. No, it would. You know what I would hate? I would hate that it was happening, but I would also feel like the entertainment itself compelled to see it, and so I would be stuck in a very meta way with that narrative as a film. And so I just don't think you should do it. But also, I don't want to have to hear about from all the film boys being like, oh, that's not how the tennis game works. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. There's too many characters. I don't care. It's really horrible. Why did they have to kill that dog in that one bit? It's not narratively necessary. I hate it.
Very good. Very good response. I think the final question, as always, is why is Austin Powers so sexy, in your opinion?
It's the bold fashion.
Excellent.
And like everything it stands for. Like it tells you a lot about a person when they have like bold fashion.
Are you ready for our random word to make a movie off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Reform.
Yeah. Reform. Interesting.
So where my mind goes immediately is Martin Luther.
Yep.
With the Protestant Reformation. So I feel like something where it's like maybe a camp action movie starring Martin Luther. Somehow.
Amazing. I don't know anything about that.
Okay, so that's fair enough. Maybe we'll steer away from that then, so we can maybe.
I was thinking like some sort of prisoner in some sort of like get back to society program is forced to rebuild a robot, or is constructing a robot to stand in as him so he can make his escape from the prison.
I like that. That's way better than Martin Luther with a gun.
No, I mean, yours sounds great. I just historically, I have no clue. I would
100%. Yeah, I absolutely understand. So, some people didn't grow up Lutheran, so that's not the first thing that comes to their mind.
Or anyway, actually, I have a much simpler idea. Reform is about, it's a robot that's been split in half, and so it's a half a robot trying to fight its other half a robot.
I like that. Okay, so it's been split in half. Has it been split in half horizontally, vertically?
You can decide. I'll let dealer's choice. It's either the torso, it's either like the top, and then they need to find their legs, or it's like down the middle. And so they're only either really analytical or really creative. They don't.
Yeah. See, I like that a lot. And I like it coming from a place where like it was split off in originally, and then someone obviously found half of it and kind of rebuilt each side of it. And that doesn't quite feel right. And so they go throughout this entire thing trying to find literally their other half. And that's like a nice metaphor for any sort of self-actualization. Yeah.
And then my other offer that's occurring to me, I just can't focus, is like a boy band of some sort, or like a band, and they have to reform and get back together, which is also very fun.
Okay, so what about this? Robot boy band.
Robot boy band.
Robot boy band, one of them, one half. One of them gets split in half. And half of them goes to prison because they're not thinking straight.
Yes.
And they have to somehow get out of prison. And the other half of them gets swept up in Protestantism.
Oh my God.
And so we're combining all of the ideas, you see.
Obsessed. I love this.
And so you have to, like, you have a goodie and a baddie, you quote a goodie and a baddie.
That makes so much sense, because of what I could see is that, so this like boy band robot, he got a bit off the rails, maybe with his drug use, his robot drug use, and he got, for whatever reason that landed him in prison. But then his lawyer made the case, well, it's not, the robot's not all bad, he's just a little bad, so you should let him go. But the judge totally reinterpreted that in a kind of biblical way, and he was like, yes, you're right, the robot is both good and bad, and so we cut it. And so what I love is that there's then like two halves of the robot going through their own kind of transformation. The one through the prison system, which is bad, obviously it's going to terribly, and then the one going to Christianity, which is, who knows.
Like the idea as well of like, you would expect them, I mean, you send half of it to prison, and then they like, I think, do get reformed, and they like go through the system in this magical world where prison works. And then on the other hand, you have someone who goes to the church, and then they learn skepticism, and then you kind of go, okay, we both learned a little something about each other.
Yeah.
So
and
what if it's a robot
just in time for the big reunion show, which is the Super Bowl.
which is the big game. I don't know if you know this. In America, you're not like allowed to say Super Bowl in advertisements because it's copyright. So everyone says the big game. Yeah,
I hate that.
Yeah,
that's awful. Very weird. But absolutely, we have to incorporate that. That's very important to me.
Yes, it's the big game. I like that it's that. Now this robot boy band. Now I like this idea of the robot boy band being just one robot, but they are like have different personalities plugged into them.
Interesting.
And so like they have holograms that project the other programs out, and that's where the conflict comes from. The reason they're split in half is like the band breaks up, but since it's just the one robot, they have to split up.
Yes.
So
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And then part of the personality, I guess, is in the cloud, and they're like, we still have this gig, so you have to, TikTok, we have to wrap this up.
You get like email reminders like, no, go away.
For sure.
Interesting. I love that. I love that the robot be like, well, we don't want to do that, but we do, but it's just one guy. Oh, it's funny. All right, cool. Himself. Where do we start our story then?
Yeah, I feel like starting the story, this also has like it does have a bit of a Dewey Cox flavor to it, doesn't it?
It does.
I feel like we should start when they're already successful. The band is already successful, so we don't have to like see that sort of meteoric rise. But I feel like we should start in the middle of a concert, and the argument happens on stage in front of everybody.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Cool.
What should the argument be about, do you reckon?
It should be about maybe like one of them doesn't get shown in spotlight, like one of the spots doesn't work, and they just have a huge ego freak out, and then they just start like just punching the other hologram with their hologram. So it's just really embarrassing because they're not really doing anything. And the one robot that's real is just like maybe something like that. Or someone who's against big music, who's like the record companies are like, this is record company technology and this is the worst thing to music, has like hacked them. And so like they get like a computer virus during the show.
I like that a lot. And then so by the end, then we have to have that person that has to end up in prison or like somehow gets their comeuppance, I feel like, by the end of the picture. But I like that a lot, that it's like a computer virus, which is like that. And they have a huge meltdown. Let me think here. And then I think it can just go straight to the court, right? After like someone gets accidentally hurt or something.
Yeah.
Like
I'd say like the robot like just starts kind of punching people.
Yeah.
Lasers.
I think it should be people who are also like tech people for the like concert. So immediately the union gets involved and is like, you cannot do this. Get them out of here. Who do you think should play the hacker?
That's such a good question. Who would be a real cool hacker? Michael Cera.
Sick. Excellent. No notes. So then they go to the court case. Then the Solomon thing happens. It should be a fun cameo for the judge.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, someone like more famous than should be in this movie.
Yes. Who? It could like be Morgan Freeman. Like it could be
Morgan Freeman.
It could be
I was thinking maybe Sir Ian McKellen.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah. I'd have Simpson suit to be split in half.
Yeah, I do love the idea that it's someone with a lot of like Shakespearean background. Like, yeah, that's beautiful. That works. Yeah.
I feel like also, I think it'd be good as well to have the prison sentence be very light. Like it's only like a week, but it's like this huge thing, but it's only like 3 days.
Absolutely like 3 days of community service, picking up trash on the side of the road is what this robot, that makes sense. And the robot's like, and like, it's like their fans are like trying to break into the courtroom. They're saying like, justice. What's the robot's name? The Axel. They're like, justice for Axel. It's a media shitstorm, really.
Like that as well. And then like a flabbergasted Ian McKellen going, it's just 3 days. You know, like
I don't see what the deal is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that. Okay, cool. And then off to prison. Bit grim, honestly, but you know,
I mean, it's just community service, so really he's just popping in to get like a high vis vest and like the like if you're doing community service, you don't go to jail, you just have to turn up at a time.
Have to turn up and do it. Yeah.
So he's like I can't believe we're here. He goes through like that huge kind of classic going to prison thing where you're like, I'm thinking like the Shawshank Redemption, like opening scene, like if people are at the bar, like he's like looking at the huge building, and it is literally just to get like his lanyard and to like,
and then walk back
just like out. Do admin, and but he's like crying.
Oh, that's very good. That's very funny, very good, and that's intercut with this other guy going to church, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So he's like,
what are we gonna do with that?
Have been rescued. Like I don't have to do the horrible thing of what could have possibly caused this good luck. Oh, it must be God, right?
Must be robot God.
Must be robot God. Is that the true reformation of Protestantism? Is that there's like a robot?
That is it's a big. Oh, it's literally the cloud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea as well. Of like, so this person like gets so lucky. Obviously, it must be divine intervention. This robot, and then I think should be trying to become like some sort of robot monk. I think.
Yeah, and you know what's cool about monks in movies is they get fighting powers.
Yeah,
which might not be relevant at all, but
But I do think no. I think it should be like Catholic monks, like monastery with the that. But they are a member of a secret society that does kick ass somehow, which then leads into my original. What if Martin Luther had a gun?
What if Martin Luther had a gun? And what if Martin Luther is the one that teaches the robot to shoot a gun?
I think that's good. I think that's I think a computer program based off of everything they know, an idea of they've downloaded everything that Martin Luther has done. Essentially, this robot is Martin Luther, but also knows how to shoot a gun like John Wick.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And we've already had films set up that kind of premise, like The Matrix. So I think it's very I think the audience would get on board with that easy peasy. I
think so too. And then I think we have to tie everything together at the end where it's the big game. And there's got to be the hacker's about to do it again, right?
Yes.
And both sides of the robot have to come together to defeat them. And so one is using the skills of being really good at martial arts and whatever and fighting. And then the other one
and the other one's learned humility. He's learned that you look at the guy picking up the trash, and who's the guy picking up the trash at the big game? It's the hacker. It's his disguise. That's how he spots the hacker. So he's like, oh no, he's got a laptop. I know garbage men, and garbage men don't walk around with laptops. And then the other half of the robot's like, great. And then he grabs the mic stand and then does monk stuff.
And I think right before he charges towards the hacker, he goes, it's time to take out the trash. And then
reuse, recycle, bitch.
And as he's about to enact vengeance on it, because that one side of his brain is taken over, then in a twist of irony, the person, the half that was bound to community service is no, you should forgive this person.
So true.
Yeah. And then I think what would be great to have that great moment. And then, there's other bandmates that haven't really been in the picture much.
Yeah.
But then one of them takes over and just shoots the motherfucker in the head. just just has oh, well, I guess.
never mind. That's fine. That's cool. That's all right.
Yep. And then that program is actually sent to actual cloud prison.
Yeah. Cloud prison. Yeah.
Cloud prison. Oh, and that's
and they have to pick, which is actually just 3 days of cloud community service, which is just cleaning up dick pics in the cloud.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You gotta get my Mac keeper or whatever. And
yeah.
Oh, that's very good. Who should play Martin Luther, do you think? I think maybe my instinct goes with Werner Herzog. The only famous German person I know.
Well, because he's also he's got that amazing thing where I can't remember quite the quote where he's like, I've been shot before. And he's
he said at one point, it's I was in Tunisia and these people were threatening me with a gun and they made me speak French and I should have just been shot. Which is
he's powerful. I think it's great casting. Great casting. That's really good.
We don't have a robot yet. Who do you want?
The robot. Who should play the robot?
Yeah, should it be different voices for the different bandmates, or should it be one person doing different voices?
I think it should be who's the best boy band? Who would be a funny boy band? I was never really a boy band girl.
I think Justin Timberlake could come in and just.
He loves to do really high caliber science fiction, like In Time. So I think this is, whatever it was called. So this would be right up his alley.
He did do In Time, and then he also has done Trolls World, the Trolls series. So and Shrek 3. Let's not forget he plays King Arthur in Shrek 3. So he has voiceover experience. I think that might be a good.
He does. His whole band have to be all of the robots.
Yes,
that would be fun.
Okay,
that would be good. Yeah,
I think we did it. Unless, do you have any other notes?
I mean, the only thing that I'm really thinking about is that we're missing like the fun and games in Act Two. And so I think
Sure.
it should be noted that like the one that goes to the monks gets like a fun learning from the monks training montage. As much as I was talking shit about montages earlier, I think that this film earns it.
Yeah.
And I guess the equivalent to that in the rubbish one is it maybe he like discovers something in the rubbish that's actually like super like valuable, and he has to like he like makes money, or it's like sentimental to someone, he makes a new friend. I just feel like there's something that could be in the rubbish plot. Maybe there's a love plot. I'm just spitballing. What if there was love?
What if it was love the whole time? I conversely, here's almost an opposite offer to you.
Okay, great.
Very intense training montage, intercut with the robot just picking up trash. And that's all. He just like has time to think, and he's like, I should be different, I guess. I don't know. It's just like
that's really funny.
Like action, cut to like on a plane, like what is this, a Snickers wrapper? You know, like
yeah, that's very good. That's absolutely how it works. Yeah, that's intense. That's great.
Yeah. I think it's very silly, very good, and that's Reform. Do you want to do
that's Reform?
Do you want to do a lightning round?
Sure, that's great.
Each get one word, and we each do a small little pitch.
Great.
Okay. First word is advantage. So my first thought with advantage is that someone in a small town has begun to rent out their van as advert space and using spray paint, but then like the fourth or fifth one that he lends it out, they realize that it's like an immoral company, and then they have to like deal with that. And it's ad van tag E.
You really broke that word. That's very creative. I was just thinking, because advantage to me. Time out. All right.
Very creative is like the most like, wow, you're really, what was that? It was very funny.
No. I meant that very genuinely. This is just my voice. I meant that like I would never be a cerebral person who could break down a word that way and make a play on it. That is not my vibe. So I was just genuinely impressed. Now
I feel embarrassed.
Advantage makes me think of sport and having advantage. So I think it's a film about referees, specifically the highest tier of referee. Pick your sport, whatever, wherever we're making it, we make it that. If it's, in Canada, a Canada co-production, maybe it's hockey. If it's in New Zealand, it's rugby, etc. We just work economically. What matters is that the referees also have to compete to be the referee at the big game. So like while the teams are competing to be the teams at the big game, the referees are competing to be the best referee. And so it follows that.
That's very funny, very good. I like that a lot. All right, so the next one is negative. I leave it to you first, if you don't mind.
Ooh, yeah, of course. Negative is so when I think negative, I think science. I think science teacher in high school. I think learning about how protons are positive and electrons are negative. And I think like a really down on his luck science teacher. I'm going to take my real physics science teacher, who was such a low status little Eeyore guy named Mr. Swan. And he just always looked so sad to be there. And he just always talked in such a sad, defeated voice. No one cares about scholarship physics. You don't want to be here. And so I just want to follow like a very slice of life dramedy about what his life is. It's very, maybe it's a social commentary. I feel like about male depression in New Zealand and how we don't really talk about it enough. Maybe it's about, maybe he has like a struggling marriage, or maybe he is really into crystals, like like maybe he's a rock guy and he polishes rocks and that's his true passion, but just like a very like, and I think it takes place over one Monday to Friday work week. And we just follow Mr. Swan.
I like that a lot. That's very good. My film called Negative is about someone who works at a boutique film store and is developing film and slowly realizes that there's a series of murders happening that are caught in the background of all these vacation shots in like Queenstown or whatever. And he has to put together he has to solve the mystery by himself because the police won't believe him.
That's amazing. I would see that so bad. That's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love photos. I love photos. Yeah. They're fun.
Yeah, I love photos.
Yeah, I like a lot of photos in a row, moving very quickly. If you can. This next one is called Hiccup, and it's spelled Hiccup, not Hickoff, as some people spell hiccup. Both of which are valid.
Who spells it like that?
The English.
Oh.
Yeah. HICCEOUGH, Hickoff.
But then you would call it a hickoff, not a hiccup.
I know.
So do they say hickoff?
I haven't said that. I've only read it.
Oh, okay.
I must say.
Never mind. That's fine. Wow, that's crazy. Hiccup. I'll go first, or you go first.
Whatever you like. I know what mine is, so.
Okay. Mine is an investigative mockumentary style piece of someone trying to discover whether the like superstitions of how to stop your hiccup is true or not. And specifically, she wants to know if scaring someone does really mean that they lose their hiccups or if it's a lie. But then so like the conceit is at the start, you think it's just like a mockumentary, but then it does turn quite horror. Because like maybe it does, but what kind of scare do you really need to truly rid yourself of hiccups forever? How do you get rid of hiccups forever? You die.
May I offer a third act twist?
You may.
She scares someone so bad they die, and then she has to deal with the body, and she's over her head.
Oh no! Yeah. That's so good. That's funny. That's really good.
So for Hiccup for me is a retelling of the Arthurian Holy Grail mythos in the Appalachian Mountains of North America, and it's Hick-Cup.
That's very good.
Bows deeply. Yeah. That's all I have on my end. What do you want people to know about you that listen to this program? What do you want people to know?
What do I want people to know? That I simply love to chat. And
I simply love a chat.
I love a chit chat, and I love being on podcasts. If they live in Wellington, they should come see both of the shows I'm in Comedy Fest. One is called Tiny Dog. One is called The Big Hoo Ha. And they are both improv shows.
Whenever I hear Big Hoo Ha, I do think of Al Pacino.
Hoo Ha. Wah.
Wah. I'm upset that they're only in Wellington. I'm up in Auckland now, and I wish I could come see, but
no, we did.
What can you do?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I will be in Wellington in late May. What are the dates specifically?
Don't ask me what dates.
Okay, I'll have a Google.
I don't think they're in late May. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm pretty. I don't remember. I'm so sorry. I think my instinct is that one is on the 12th and one is on the 20th. They're definitely both on Saturdays.
Okay. You heard it here, folks. Saturdays in May.
Yeah, just be there.
Yeah. But thank you very much, Alayne. This has been absolutely wonderful.
That was very delightful. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks. I hope you have a great day too. Also, I forgot to do this last time. Go to tristanmiller.substack.com for early ad-free access. And then also, I do movie reviews there. It's very fun. Have a go.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Goodbye.